Welcome to the Ultralight Gear Podcast.
I'm your host, Josh.
And I'm your host, Paul.
Woo!
Today, we're going to be looking at my backpack. We'll see what's weighing me down, what keeps me awake at night.
Oh, no. Boom.
So, as you can see here by the exterior, I am working with a Palante Joey. And I did mention this story somewhat on a previous episode. But as you guys probably know by now, after hearing me talk about it incessantly, I partake in a weird segment of the touring sports where we actually travel by skateboard. And I started carrying things on my back because I felt that it was a more pure representation of the sport. I also really enjoyed the ability to have proper movement. So with a skateboard, you need to be able to turn, lean. You know, you have to be able to put your hands down. You can't really be holding on to too much stuff. Around the time that I was starting to experiment with backpacks, a couple people tried trailers where they had a second skateboard behind them.
Wow.
Yeah, that's so I love the guys that do it. They're great people, like Rob Thompson, who has like the Guinness World Record, had the Guinness World Record for longest manpower journey. He got bored of bike touring and eventually started skateboarding, and he had a second skateboard and he put all his gear on it, right? All of the stuff that would be in his panniers. I don't find it, again, a pure representation of the sport because you can't do like the things that you need to in order to maneuver. A dog's coming at you, you can't brake, you can't slide. And ultimately, this is what's led me to a hip beltless pack as well, because the ability to disassociate the torso, disassociate's kind of like a sport nerd term for like just rotation, but like I need to be able to turn my hips clockwise and my upper torso counterclockwise, and that becomes or I should say a backpack with a hip belt can impede the ability to do that. So I was setting up for the race, the Scram, which was to be the skateboard version of the Trans Am bike race. So the Trans Am bike race, for those of you that don't know, is a bike race where you ride a bike from the Oregon coast to the Virginia coast. And it happens pretty much every year in the summer. I don't think it happened during COVID, or if it did, it was super low key. The last person that I know to win it was Abdullah. I forget his last name.
Yeah, there's actually a stop on the Appalachian Trail that meets the Trans America bike route.
Yeah.
I forget the town now, actually. I'm pretty sure they have trail days there. I should remember.
That's convenient.
Wow, I don't remember, but I think it's Damascus.
But yeah, basically we were hoping to do that with skateboards, but we had insurance issues, and then the pandemic happened. And it was probably good for me because I wouldn't have been ready with my leg. I was still in the hard callus stage of my recovery, my bone recovery, if for any of you medical nerds, I guess, or my friend Jonathan Douglas, who was a teammate on my skateboard team with me, he had hiked the John Muir Trail. And just a week before he did, Handy Andy of Palante Packs, had set his fastest known time with the prototype for this backpack, actually.
Cool.
And so when Jonathan was done his John Muir Trail experience, he went out to go skate with the rest of the Loaded Orangutan team. And he was down in, they went to Arizona, and they were skating some hill in Arizona. And there's this guy there named Andy, and they started talking at the top of the hill, as you do while you're waiting. And you know, they were recanting their past month, and Jonathan was like, I just got back from hiking the John Muir Trail, and then Andy was like, yeah, I just did too, actually. And then Jonathan was like, are you handy, Andy? And Andy was like, yeah. And then Jonathan's like, holy frick, you got the FKT. And Andy apparently was like, yeah, like just kind of chill about it, like no big deal. I heard that story. A year goes by, I'm setting up for this race. I'm looking at the Palante packs and I'm like, I'll just write to Andy. And I'll be like, hey, Andy, how's it going? My name's Paul. I'm prepping to do this silly race where I do this. And I see that you're sold out of Joey's at the time being. When are they going to come back? And I hear Dusty and the guys on the loaded team. Like, do you ever watch any of these videos? And he was like, I know who you are. What's your mailing address? I'll send you one of our... I forget. I don't know if this backpack was just set aside for marketing purposes. I think it's just it was just a sales demo. It's not a blem, so that's sweet. But
Nice.
But yeah. So disclaimer: I did not pay for this pack. I have offered twice. He said that if I liked it, I could buy it, but he has told me that he's okay with it, and that I shouldn't bother trying to bug him to pay him. So thanks, Andy. I appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
However, like I'm take this. You can take this with a grain of salt.
Disclaimer.
Right? But I really do. This is actually my favorite backpack that I've ever owned. And I do really, really, really like comfortable bags. And so I find this is like super comfy for me. It feels just as good as my best framed Ospreys from way back, like the Exos. And but it's even better because of its ride height and the fact that it moves independently from my lower torso. So you need a pack liner. I'm not a huge fan of pack liners or pack covers.
Why? I don't like pack covers, but I like pack liners.
I just don't like them because they're finicky. That's all. But they actually, I like that they have multiple uses. So I use them, and that's how I do it. But there was like one trip where I tried to get away from them by using a pack cover, and I didn't like it. And there was one other time where I had where I used that Z-Packs Arc 52, and I didn't use anything for that. I was just like, hey, if it gets a little bit damp because it's not water, it had taped seams.
Nice.
So even if the DCF wore out, I don't care if things get a little bit damp. Normally the stuff is pretty good, but I don't like shoving the thing in, and I don't like shoving things into it and having it accordion up. I just find it annoying. It's not a make or break thing. It's just a minor annoyance.
Yeah, fair. I mean, I wish the pack was actually waterproof, but I never trust the pack, so the pack liner is always going to be
of course,
a must
right?
for me. So
exactly, you're going to use a pack liner.
Even if I have a completely seam sealed bag, I still wouldn't trust it.
No, it would be good you could trust it for maybe like a week long thing here or there, but like
yeah. So that's why when I bought my pack, it's not seam sealed or anything. I'm not really worried about that, but I don't trust it really, I guess.
Yeah, and the fabric is still waterproof on your backpack, so your fabric isn't going to get heavier from weight.
It's true.
Like from water, or it might a little
maybe
bit.
Maybe
the face fabric might, because is that a polyester? That's a polyester, right?
I'm not too sure.
Normally they're nylon, but I thought the laminates that they use for the carbon fiber is poly.
You're probably right. I don't remember.
I could be wrong.
But I know it's another layer, but I just
hate at us in the comment sections if we're wrong. So this is the V1. They actually have come out with a V2. I wasn't quick enough to get on that drop. Unfortunately, it was a very limited run this time around. I am excited for the V2. I can't imagine. I think you checked this before, but it's not that much of a weight increase. But
no, it was like 6 grams or something like that.
Or it's just 6 grams over what I have with my little Light Trek bungees.
Yeah.
It has a little bit more reinforcing at the top of the mesh pocket, just because this can be a little, I don't know, just a little. It looks like it's not the most robust connection here, just because there's not a lot of stitching transitioning from the nylon to the mesh. So it's a broader piece of nylon, so that way it's more distributed. And the yoke, which is one of my favorite parts of the bag, but one of the things that I don't like about it is that it only has the single pocket for your bottles or big items. And then I have to store all my little stuff underneath it, inside of the pocket. And I kind of would like a small one for like, you know, little things that you need to grab, like maybe a compass or a knife, or maybe you could even put a phone there. That'd be cool. And I think that would be good if you could get some of this off of your sides. I find that when I don't have a shirt on, when I'm skateboarding, it can scratch my sides quite a bit. Like, it's not that bad, but with a shirt, I notice that the straps kind of agitate if it's a merino wool shirt, it starts to pill slightly. So it's really not that bad. Like, when I'm walking around with it, I don't notice it at all. It's pretty much just when I'm skateboarding, because I kind of bring my arm really close to my body. But I imagine that the new yoke is a lot more comfortable. So I'm really excited to try it out. But
it looks really nice.
Yeah.
It looks a lot cleaner, honestly, than this pack. But I still like the look of this pack.
Yeah, I like this one too. I think I'd have a hard time choosing, because I just kind of also really like this one. but the fabric here is like 2 layers of like that old school running shoe mesh fabric with the little spacer
3D
plastic
spacer
inside
mesh.
there. Yeah. So it's super comfortable. They have slightly more. They have I forget what you call this. What do you call this again? This like
Hemming?
gusset sort of thing around here.
Yeah.
But they double up the outside of the strap, so that way it stretches properly the way that it should. It doesn't kind of get loose and sloppy in areas where it can be tighter, but it's a little bit more pliable in the spots where you want it to be, like around your neck. So that's super nice. I find, like, I was looking at other lightweight packs, and usually when I kitted them out with like extra pockets for the chest, they ended up being, even if they started lighter weight, they ended up being more weight. So I can also put my camera in one of these, and I just add this elastic loop here to wrap around the grip, and I find that it sits there really securely, and that saves me the weight of a Peak Design chest clip for the camera, and it actually sits more securely, being completely wrapped, the lens being completely wrapped in this stretch fabric, this bike shorts sort of material. So I'm a big fan of that. I find it super comfortable. Again, like, there's not really much going on in the way of a back mesh, so you do sweat into it. It does get kind of grody, but we've spoken about this when we were talking about Josh's pack. But underneath here, we've got the Palante style stretch pocket underneath. It's super nice.
Yep.
I like the chest pockets, and I like this because I want my stuff to be accessible. I want to be able to like grab my day's worth of snacks, and then I only need to take my backpack off. It's standard practice. This isn't anything groundbreaking or new, but if I'm taking my backpack off, I'm taking it off anyway, because I'm going to squat off the trail and go to the washroom.
Well, you take your backpack off to shit, man. Imagine how much time you lose. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, but no, like if I like it's to get to the toilet paper, or
have you ever peed and hiked? Save time.
Yeah, I've peed and skateboard.
Hell yeah!
In races.
In traffic.
Yeah. Technically yes, but there was really no traffic around.
Yeah.
So anyway, if I am taking the backpack off, like to get to something, the backpack was coming off anyway. Oh, I need to put on my rain jacket. Well, I have to take my backpack off. So I don't need that readily accessible within a grab. The only thing where I break that rule with is my rain skirt, because I do end up needing to take the bag off to get to that. But yeah, so underneath I usually keep snacks, and often I'll put a map there. The pants I wear have a map pocket, but sometimes I like to have a map underneath here too, because they're waterproof maps, and they keep the sweat from getting in any food stuff, even though the food stuff should all be sealed. But you never know. Maybe you weren't hungry enough to finish something. As far as maps go, I do like to carry them. Normally I'll trim them a bit. I'll cut sections off. This is pretty big, but I didn't trim a ton off this one just because there's other trails, and this wasn't for a through hike, so being able to use it again was kind of important. But I also write a bunch of information on the back. Like here I have tide tables, which are super important. Like I imagine that would be a useful tactic for like the Te Aurora.
Oh yeah, only on some sections though. It's not that bad. Yeah. I mean, you'll get there, you'll know.
This is the distance between every single campsite on this particular route, so we could ad hoc change up the plan. And water availability points and whatever I could get online that I felt was useful. Just more snacks. I keep my face mask usually underneath there too, so I can get to it pretty quickly in case, like when it comes time to being in town, or just talking to people. Like nowadays,
yeah.
Sometimes, somebody just got on the trail. Maybe it's good to mask up, right? Like, including myself. So yeah, cool. What else do we got on the outside here? I have 2 carabiners here and a couple S-beaners. I think they all total would be like 6.5 grams, but I might get rid of one of them. Josh criticized me for having 2. I use these for my bear hangs when I do a hang, and or for other things. Like honestly, they're more. It's more used for tools. I also keep them to. Right now I have them set up so they protect these little cinch light trek hook bungee things. I've got 2 of those and one from Paolante up on the side just to hold on to poles. They hold on to pretty much anything I need them to. I often use them for drying out clothes after I wash my clothes. I'll probably keep the more robust one.
Nice. Yeah,
even though it's half a gram heavier.
Carabiner looks nicer than that one for sure.
Yeah, it's
that one looks like it's gonna break. It looks like I could break it right now.
Yeah, this is like one of the really cheap ones that you get from all the ultralight gear companies when they just want to sell you cheap. When you want to buy like a stupid cheap carabiner.
Yeah.
But side pockets. So I like these Montclair bottles. I'm pretty sure you can get exactly the same bottle under different names, different brands. This is a 1 liter with the cap. The cap is like 3 to 4 grams, but with the cap, this weighs 20 grams. When I do have a stove, I carry a 500 milliliter version. With the cap is 11 grams. The bottle itself on my scale comes out at 9. I think the cap's like 3.5. And then for a 1.5 liter bottle, I have a bunch of those too, and those are 25 grams. Now, they're not as robust as the smart water bottle ones, but I like that they're light.
Yeah, they're really light.
Oh, here's the cap.
Way lighter than the smart water bottles.
Sometimes I'll cut a hole in one of the caps and then use it to spray water or fuel. But yeah, they're way lighter, but you can't be as rough with them. The stretch mat fabric that they have on the sides here is surprisingly robust. If you have a pair of Saxx underwear, it's actually what they use for the crotch gusset in the Saxx underwear.
No way.
Yeah, it's exactly the same material. And that crotch gusset material holds up better than the rest of the underwear. This is the Katahdin Be Free in the 600 milliliter version. Now, I don't think that these are the most. I've had really good luck with this one, but I've also had another one that sprung a leak pretty quick. It wasn't a fatal leak. Like, it was leaking, but it didn't really want to leak unless you squeezed it or something or moved it around or bumped it, but it could be taped probably. But yeah, I also don't like that you can't really back flush them very effectively.
Yeah, that's my biggest complaint with them, They always get really clogged up really fast. I mean, I when I used mine, it was in the desert, so there's a lot of stuff in the water. Yeah. Solar squeezes have like a filter before the filter, like a preliminary filter, a small little filter, and this one doesn't. So I think when you back flush a Sawyer squeeze, you're mostly just pushing the junk out of that small little layer in the beginning, not the 2 parts that you see in this filter that eventually actually filter the water out. Yeah, well, eventually it'll clog. But, But it is actually like it is the highest quality filtration you get before you plug in a charcoal filter. But
but it's just as good as anything else, and it has a really good water flow, like really good water flow. Like you can drink really rapidly with this, at least when it's new to midlife. But no, you can't back flush it. It doesn't have that extra filtration layer to protect it from debris. So back flushing isn't super effective. They say shaking is good.
Yeah, I've tried that a lot, but I haven't really had much success at all.
When it gets really murky, I imagine it's not that bad. So the reason I like this though is because its form factor is decent. I can use it in my chest pocket on this, even if it's a little floppy. I find that if you put a little rubber band that you can just wrap around here twice and attach it to the utility loop on the chest strap, then I find that it works pretty good. It stays still, and then you can scrunch it down and cinch with the cinch on my backpack. You can cinch it down inside once you've had a sip or two. A lot of the frustration comes from the material this is made out of. It's basically water bladder material from like your old Camelbacks, but that is really useful for when you're getting in a really shallow pool, or if you're just getting some waterfall that's running down the side of a rock and you're in a hurry. With this, I don't need to stop to fill up. I just need to crouch and duck walk for a second. And so it's really useful if you're in a hurry. And sometimes I am. This is a representation of Bearspray. Normally I wouldn't have the gaff tape on the outside, but I did use this in a hurry and I didn't have time to take off the label. And I don't like that the label gets eaten by the 3D mesh and it gums up the 3D mesh. So I covered this just in a hurry, but I need to pull that off and then clean it off with Goo Gone or something like that. But Bearspray, I live and hike. I don't live in grizzly bear territory, but I hike. I live really close to it, and I hike in areas that are populated by grizzly bears, mating territory sometimes, not during the season. And one of my favorite quick 40-kilometer jogs is out in a denning area in the Paradise Valley. So, it's good to have. My friend Barry, who's been in the mountains probably longer than most of our viewers, and like he's been around he's in his late 60s now, and he's more active than I am. But he carries 2 cans with him at any given time because they're not necessarily the most reliable, and so it is important to replace these when the expiration date comes up. And if you're carrying them on a hike and you're moving day in and day out, like you're probably going to want to replace them more frequently. You were speaking to that. You're telling me about that. Yeah,
there's a lot of hostels at the end of long trails. You can't fly with pressurized containers, so they just leave them at the hostel. And so a lot of the beginning and the ends of the hostels on these long trails, they're just filled with and we used to go play with them a lot. And like a lot of the really old ones just didn't really work that well. They would just shoot up a burst, but it wasn't really like what it should be, like a big puff, a big cloud. It should be a big like cloud thing. But you got to be careful with them. I never knew that until then. We were playing with them, and a lot of the not even ones that were even that expired. I don't believe it was just like there's just shaken up. I think just the through hike day in day out. I think it does something to the contents.
Yeah, maybe it neutralizes the propellant somehow if it gets shook.
What's that spicy thing called again?
Capsicum?
Capsicum.
Yeah.
Maybe that has a half-life. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe. But maybe.
I mean, they do have an expiration date.
I think there must be
they must know about it.
I'm pretty sure the expiration date is because of the propellant. I
guess that makes sense because I know they
vaguely remember from selling it that I needed to be like, you have to replace them because the propellant. But damn. Yeah, that's heavy. It's heavy. This is my pack's heavy. I'm a long, so I have extra sleeping bag, extra bivy bag. My bivy bag weighs more. And then I carry this, and I don't usually see this on people's kit lists. So I don't know if everybody's just got really big biceps. Then you just wrestle the bears. I know a guy that tackled a bear.
What? I don't believe this.
He's short. He was walking with his girlfriend and his dog, and he went out, and this bear basically was mad at them, and it made moves at them, and then they I I can't remember if it like did a bluff charge. I think it did a bluff charge, and then like the dog like got up in the bear's grill, and then my friend and his girlfriend at the time, they sort of got out of there, and then he had this like moment where he's like, my dog, and he's like, you're not going to kill my dog, and so he like left his girlfriend, who was now in a safer spot, ran back and like just ran at the bear and like tried to knock it down this embankment. And he said when he ran into it, it was like a fur carpeted concrete pillar. And but he did get it teetering over just enough that it tumbled down this embankment. So for a little while they were apparently both going down this hill together, and then he managed to stop himself, but the bear had more inertia and just kept going for a bit, and he got up and the dog was okay and they got out of there, and then she married him.
What?
Yeah, no, this is real though. This is real. The guy used to own a bearing company for skateboards called Bullet, and then they got a cease and desist from Bullet skateboards. Yeah. Yeah. And I also have an experience with Bearspray. Like, I've been tear gassed a lot in the infantry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so because we would do our gas mask donning and doffing like in a room full of tear gas. So, and I've also been bear sprayed once. So I had people try to mug me and my friends, and we were all way bigger than these muggers. It was these two little kids basically, and they thought we had drugs because we were skateboarders, and they wanted us to give them stuff, and we didn't have anything. And so the guy we basically told him to screw off. One of the guys was kind of making fun of him a little bit. That was Aaron actually from the skate series. But
nice.
So we're walking up the Centre Street Bridge from downtown, going to our friend's place, and then there's this psh, and my eyes are stinging, and the guy basically reached around and sprayed and at me, and the first thing I did, there was so much pressure in the eye socket, like behind the eyeball, that I checked to make sure that my eye was still in my head. And it was.
Thank God.
So that's good. But this stuff sucks. In the back of the eyes, it sucks. It sucks all over your body. I think these kids weren't prepared for the cloud.
No, most people don't know that it's actually like a cloud. It's not.
Yeah.
If you have one of those tiny little
dog maces, or
those little self protector little things, and it shoots in a straight little water beam forward you, and I think that's what people expect when they pull it out.
Yeah,
but that's not what you get when you get bear spray. You get a cloud, and sometimes it blows right back on you. It's
and it deflects. There's a backblast you got to worry about.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's serious.
So this guy was basically spraying it at himself too. And then his buddy, who was a little bit over, he got it, and my friends got it, even though they were standing 2 road lanes away from me. And so everyone couldn't really see. The other 2 guys start chasing these kids with their skateboards. I'm swinging wildly because I can't see for the rest of the day. I couldn't see. I'm just swinging my board around, telling my friends not to get stabbed. And Aaron chased the kid like a friggin' kilometer.
Damn.
Then he came back, helped me get home. That was an hour for 6 blocks, because they couldn't see that well, and I can see a friggin' thing. We had there's a pro tip coming. We had the paramedics come, and fire and police came too. We called 911. I took a shower. I tried to do the whole rinse off method, and all it did was
burn you.
It got on my perineum, it got into my underwear areas, and it was just agonizing. But I remember the second ambulance that came had this thing called BioShield or BioGuard, and it's a capsicum neutralizer, and it's a spray, a little pump spray. It comes in a little spray bottle, sort of bottle you used to tell a cat no, which they don't understand. I don't think you should actually scold cats like that. But anyway, my cat likes it. We'll be spraying the plants. We have a plant that you need to mist, and the cat comes over and stands underneath the the stuff that misses it. But whatever, he's a weird cat. But anyway, this stuff, you spray it in your eyes and it stings a lot worse for 10 seconds, and then it's gone, and then you're good.
Wow.
I mean, you still feel like crap.
Oh yeah.
It still feels like you had you dumped competition grade hot sauce in your eyes, but just it's not burning anymore. It felt like you've dealt with it somehow, which doesn't actually normally happen. Every other part of my body kept screaming. They wouldn't let me spray it all over. Jerks. But anyway, so I actually went out and bought some, and then I lost the bottle. But anyway, so let's get back at what we got going on here. Well, we'll do the poles first. Normally I'll clip these to the bottom, or I'll have them in my hands. These are really useful for climbing up hills, as you've heard me say over and over and over again, especially after I hurt my leg. I just like how they make me carry over terrain quickly. Thinking about it, I don't know if I would actually bring them on something like on a mellow trail, but these are the Black Diamond Carbon Z distance poles, not necessarily in that order. Actually, it's distance Carbon Z. They are a Z pole, so you've got these silicone sheaths over these like Kevlar ropes. You can adjust the tension, but they come together like that. These are 130 centimeter poles. What are these? 320 grams roughly for the pair?
I think it was 302 for the pair.
302, is that what I wrote? Okay.
Yeah, and then the Locust Gear ones were like 5 grams heavier.
Yeah, but the Locust Gears are adjustable.
Yeah,
so if you don't know your size really well, or if you're the type that wants to have a short side and a long one on a traverse, I would probably recommend the Locust. If I was to replace these, there's these Likey poles. I've said this in the last episode, but I wanna replace them with the Likeys, even though the Likeys are probably only.
What kind of are they single pole? Or are they just one?
They're another Z pole. They're a racing pole.
Oh, okay.
So they're for trail running. So they're made to attach. What you do is you wear this like spandex tube that has 2 rubber bands on it, and you attach your pole to the rear so you can run. And when it comes time to climb, you pull them off and you open them really quick, and then you use them to power up your hill. Or you can use them on the way down. But they're for the technical sections, and then you just attach them to your like tube belt, and then they that's what you do.
Interesting.
That's for like your 100-kilometer mountain races and stuff.
Yeah.
So these are like maybe 12 grams too heavy for a racing pole. They're actually they're good for racing. They're just a little bit more robust, I think.
Yeah. If you ever use like a Z-Pack Tex-Mid style tent too, the adjustableness is really nice to, you can like make it low if the weather's really, really bad, or you can make it really high when the weather's really nice, which is a nice plus. I've
been thinking about getting their pocket hexamid just in case I want to live.
Light.
Honestly, more for bears than for anything else. Because bears have a psychological thing when it comes to tents versus a bivy bag. You're way more accessible to the bear if you have a bivy bag. There's more. I think the amount of attacks, if you look at the statistics, tends to trend higher. There's more occurrences of like attacks per bivy bag capita. I don't know what the terminology is here.
This is really interesting. This is the first time I've heard this.
I'm getting this from Dr. Stephen Herrero. I'm pretty sure he wrote that when he looks at his data, it's not conclusive, but the amount of bear attacks per bivy bag is there's just an overrepresentation.
I mean, it makes sense to me.
More of them. Because, the thing is you set up your bivy bag anywhere. You could be on a game trail. The bear's not going to see you until it's on top of you, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you have like a tent. Another thing is you're inside of that barrier. They think of maybe they understand it's a barrier. I don't know. I'm not a bear, but
I don't know. If I was a wild animal, I didn't know what it is. I think it makes sense.
It's a bigger thing.
Yeah, it's a bigger thing. You're like, what the heck? I don't know. I've had lots of bears sniff my tent over the years. You can hear them, the sounds they make as they put their nose against the face fabric.
My brother had that with a hammock. He had the nose
man,
look right there, like kind of tucking underneath his tarp, and he was like this sucks.
Pretty much. It's what you do when you're in that situation. You're like, oh my God, should I scare the bear? You're like, maybe not. That's maybe not a great idea.
Yeah. It could be, but it could also be bad.
I mean, a lot of bears will come back. They're pretty smart, especially I know a lot of thru hikers are bad and they sleep with their food, and they'll come back again and again and again. So it's best after a bear finds you, it's best to just move. Even if it's like 1 kilometer, it sucks, but it's good. It's good to just move away.
I would rather do that anyway. Like, I think at that point I'd be excited, and it depends how often it happens. But I've only had evidence of bears around and not right on top of me in the mornings. I've been lucky, but I don't know. I've read a few books on bear behavior, and it's a good read. They're good reads. If you like horror films, and I don't, you'll probably really like case studies from these books. But anyway, bear attacks are interesting, and the psychology and like all the things to keep in mind to like get out of the other side of an encounter. Like in the best case scenario, there's a lot going on there. So it's good to think about it. I think pretty frequently, but don't freak yourself out because they're pretty rare still when it comes down to...
Yes, don't pack your fears.
Yeah.
Leave the Bearspray at home.
That's what we're getting at.
Don't do that, actually. Disclaimer.
All right. So in case I do get mauled by a bear, I have this Garmin inReach.
Perfect.
I like the inReach because if I have a phone, and I'm bringing them more and more often, it lets me use the phone, because one of the reasons why I didn't bring my phone all that much in the past was because I hiked in places where there was absolutely no cell phone reception ever. So this gives me the ability to text in case of an emergency, or more importantly, when there is no emergency, but I'm just like, I'm going to stay out here a little bit longer because I have family members that are like really paranoid. So I have the current spot tracker, which doesn't, not the bigger one with the texting functionality, but it's like 120 something grams, and it doesn't have the texting functionality. I like this because it's lighter, because I can charge it. Oh, I think you can charge the spot too, but this one advertises that you can actually charge it with a USB, so I can attach this to my battery bank and top it up. The Trackmaster's website is a Spot sponsored website, and they use Spot Tracker, and Spot's been around forever. They're the ones that track like ultra endurance events or adventure races, and you can see where your athlete is on the map. So this actually plays nice with that. I've checked because I was going to use that if that race had happened. The navigation, the software, it's Garmin. It seems like they just keep making new features, but they never perfect the graphical, the GUI. It feels like a beta test all the time.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's my biggest complaint. It's been my biggest complaint with Garmin for a while. Since their software. I mean, it's just terrible. I mean, the Spot's not that great either. Nothing's really that great right now.
Yeah. The Spot used to be annoying. I remember when it first came out, and I bought one back in 2008. And I remember in order to put it up on a website, like it was a major pain in the butt, all this. We had to send this stuff off to a web person, and then she had to do all this crap to get it to display, but it would only display 12 days. So people couldn't see the start of the trip if it just start rolling ahead. So it would only just plot 12 points. So we would just do it once at nighttime just to say we were okay. And then people could see where we camped every night on our when we were in Peru. And that's why I bought it the first time, because I would be so far away from a hospital that I figured if we got hurt, we would need to be able to call for a helicopter. So that's why I started carrying them. And then we got a lighter weight one for the next trip, and then I held on to that forever. And then when I started hiking again after I got out of the north for work, I got another Spot and really liked the look of this, but this was a bit more expensive. And then it took me a year before I bought this one, just to save the weight and for that texting functionality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been meaning to buy this myself. I don't know. In the beginning, I didn't really have that much people I needed to text anyway, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
But now, we're getting old.
I do feel that the navigation is a little bit better on this than it's the Spot really doesn't offer any of that.
Yeah.
Now, it's emergency only or breadcrumb. I think you can upload a GPX or other GPS files, and it can give you a route, and it gives you like a compass, and you can also use it with your phone using the Bluetooth. But I don't really use it for that. I might use it if I really need to return if I've never used it, actually. I've played with the feature to see if it would point me back to the start of the trail. That's it. If that's what you want, this is not your device, but it's the lightest weight thing that has it that isn't a watch. And this works with the Garmin watches. So I was looking at getting the Fenix 6S Solar, 6X Solar, I think, or whatever, the Solar 6, and this you can text people from your watch and stuff like that. Then you don't need your phone, as far as I'm concerned, unless you use your phone for a camera. And if I'm,
Yeah.
I might have a camera, in which case, then do I need a phone? I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. I'm still waiting for the day when they just make actually, I don't know. I feel like we're going to have cell phone service everywhere soon with Elon Musk around.
Yeah, with the satellites.
Yeah, he said he wants to make his own phone service. It makes sense, really. Yeah, we should be routing most of our phone calls through the internet eventually anyway. Get off the old school system.
They would hate that here. Those telecom companies.
Oh, yeah. I think they already hate it.
We might be losing one. So this is my flashlight. This is a 1R EOS. It's an Olite. This is the 12-gram light. I think it's 15 because I have 3 grams of rope attached to it, so I can wear it around my neck or even kind of cinch it to my hat. It's 130 lumens on max, and it's a 5 lumens on low. It doesn't last very long on max, probably not even an hour, but it'll last like maybe 3 or 4 hours on low, and then it's really dim, and then it's almost not really that usable, but it's something, I guess. But I can charge it. I can plug it in with a micro USB cable, so I can charge it off my battery. So I normally will do that at night, and it gives the little charging light, gives just a little bit of red light in the tent, and then I can, it's not that useful actually, but
I don't know. I should probably get that. I pretty much have the exact same thing, except mine takes a AA.
Yeah,
or AAA.
Well, they have a bigger one that has a lithium battery, and that might be a smarter way to go. I just got that because it was the stupidest, lightest light that was still functional.
It. Yeah, I really like it. If it had a clip to like a hat or something.
That's the thing that sucks, is it doesn't have a clip, and I want that clip so bad, because
if it had something like that, it'd be perfect.
You're absolutely right. Like, I would be willing to pay for the clip.
Yeah, you should just buy the,
and the extra 4 grams.
Buy the other Olight that comes with the clip, and then put it on that. I should see if my clip fits on that. That'd be really nice. It probably would.
I should buy the bigger one just for it.
It feels like the same size or similar size.
So this is the charging cable that comes with the Olight, and it's just a USB-A to USB micro, and it weighs like 5 grams, I think. It's all on my pack lighter. And then I've got this tiny dinky little USB-C adapter that I've had forever, and have managed not to lose this one. So anyway, so that's what I'll use for my phone. The battery pack that I'll use is this. Now, there's a serious caveat with these items here. This is my Anker 10,000 milliamp charger that everyone has.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm angry. I'm angry that I'm not the only one. Everyone has them.
Yeah. That's standard. They're good.
Yeah, they're great. I have a charge here, so that's good for a couple days. But no, actually it's 3 because one of the LEDs died. But if I'm carrying cameras, if I'm carrying a camera and I'm not just carrying my Sony camera, then I normally need to go up to a larger charger, and it has to be power delivery because the Canons won't charge unless you use a PD compatible charger, and my better cameras are Canons. So but that's an additional weight, above and beyond the 6.5, 6.6 pound base weight that I have with the Bearspray. Anyways, I'll put those down there. Oh, I'll hit my microphone. Hurt everybody's ears. I started using these Ninja work gloves for a trail that had a lot of rope work, and never took them off. I just wear them when I'm out on the trail. I like them when I'm using my poles. I like them when I'm handling rock. They keep my hands, typically keep me a little bit warmer when it's cool, but they're not insulated. And they're pretty light. They're listed on my full skin out list. And they're very durable. They're great, especially if you're going to use the arborist throw line for hangs. They prevent you from burning your hands.
Yeah, that's nice.
And they prevent me from getting cuts, and they keep my hands pretty clean, which is convenient when you want a nice clean finger to pick your nose.
Yeah, it's the same gloves we use at tree planting, actually.
They're tons of dexterity.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you need.
Like, they're really form-fitting and kind of tight, but not a bad tight. And so
I really like those gloves.
They don't roll around on your fingers like other gloves do.
A lot of bike couriers use them to just like bike around too.
I'm going to make a fingerless version and cut the fingers off so it's more punk rock.
They even have ones have like more like they have like more plasticky bits instead of the mesh material or whatever.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, I don't know. They're pretty cool. They're good gloves.
And for rain, I don't have rain mitts yet. I just use a pair of these Gorilla Tough nitrile work gloves just to keep the cold water from rinsing off the warm water in my hands. Okay, what's this?
Whoa.
AMSR.
Boom.
This is, oh my God. This is my Norvan SL by Arc'teryx. This is a stupid jacket to have. Friggin' dumb because it's expensive. I got it for 30% off on a sale because I was lucky. I bought it for that race. I just needed it to last to Wyoming. And then I was happy. And the race didn't happen. So I bought this jacket. And I've just been using it for backpacking and for trail running with the Joey backpack on because it's just in case I didn't mention it before, but it's kind of a running pack through hiking hybrid. It's a fast pack. So it's built to feel and carry more like a running vest than it's like a hybrid of a running vest and a backpack. So anyways, this jacket is not warranted if you use it with a backpack. Buyer be warned.
Yeah, disclaimer.
Most people think that they're pretty flimsy, but I've had good experience. I've done some minor, like light duty bushwhacking at nighttime with it on. I've fallen onto a bridge and slid on the bridge, and it didn't put a hole in it. It's 120 grams, and it's my windbreaker. I almost wear it all the time. Like when I skateboarded from Banff to Jasper to Waterton, I wore it every day and usually for like 80% of the day, if not more. Only when it was really hot. But even when it was dry out and sunny, it would be so cold because I was like in north central Alberta in the mountains at like 2 kilometers elevation, and it would be sunny but cold. And so I would wear this as my windbreaker and with the backpack on, shaking all over the place, and it did well, man. Like, so far, so good. I've heard one report from a person, I'm pretty sure they were on the Pacific Crest Trail, and they had worn this. Now, this is after I bought it, after I committed to wearing it. But I think it was a she, and she claimed in her review that it wore the texture off and it looked more like a garbage bag, but it was still working and holding up in the shoulders. I'm talking about in the shoulders. And she says that it doesn't wet out or anything like that. It doesn't wet out because it's Teflon. This is PTFE with no face fabric and no real liner. It's just like they kind of sprayed a tiny bit of fiber onto it. Like they painted some fibers there. But other than that, I would almost consider it like a 1.5 or 1.25 layered jacket.
I mean, I think it is a single layer. But
they call it a single.
Yeah, they call it a single layer.
It's just Teflon, but they just have some fibers kind of impregnated on the inside here, and that's it. So I would.
It feels really nice.
it would puncture really bad. It looks super slick.
It does look.
It looks super premium.
Yeah, we went on a hike and it looked really nice.
Yeah, I love it, man. I really do. If I put a hole in it, I'd buy a new one.
I'm kind of jealous. I don't know. I was kind of, when it first came out, I was like, oh no. It was
This
like,
is stupid. Yeah.
I was like, all the reports were like,
That's
I broke it trying it on in store. And I'm like, oh man. I was like, damn it. This is like, I was so looking forward to this jacket. And
You can't be an oaf with it.
oh no, God no. This is an ultralight jacket.
But it's more durable than my Frog Togs. Like,
Yeah.
which is saying a lot.
a $400 jacket versus a $20 jacket.
Like if I was going rock climbing, I'd probably bring my like Westcomb Spectre hoodie or something like that, or I'd buy that new Arcteryx that we were looking at on episode
the
2.
Anker? Yeah,
The SL.
Yeah, Anker.
With the crystal infused nylon face fabric or whatever. Like that looks sweet, actually. That's been growing on me ever since you showed me it. I've been, but I don't need it. But I love Anorax.
I don't know.
In case you guys didn't get that.
I don't know. If it had a full zipper, I would buy it.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know. I'd buy it right now. Honestly, I'm really happy with my one Arcteryx ultralight jacket, but they stopped making it now, so.
Yeah. RIP.
RIP.
This is my rain skirt. I'll use a Helium 2 for skateboarding because this is not usable. We've been over that. But this is 36 grams. I basically copied just from the pictures of the Z-Packs one, but I did a couple, quality of life improvements. I used an orange thread for style points. I have tie-outs all over it, so I can use it as the world's tiniest tarp for if it's like really going to be raining and I want to be able to open the Bivy bag in the morning and not have water like drop on my face. So I could maybe try to do a tiny little tarp setup. It has the Urtec zipper, and so I can do the whole, the zipper goes behind you and you open it up for a larger stride. And then to stay warmer, or if you're walking slow, or if it's raining sideways, you can zip it up. I have more of a flare than the Z-Packs, and it's a narrower waist than the Z-Packs because I didn't need the extra width. And I actually put a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of elastic in it, but only like 3 inches because I didn't want to put the full weight of the full length. And then I attached it to a Grosgain ribbon to use as the belt. And then my brother and I printed this really terribly done little mini buckle that weighed less, and it's so ugly, it doesn't work all that good, but it works.
Yeah,
I'll replace it eventually, but I kind of like the 3D
printed little thing.
I kind of like the fact that aside from the fabrics and the thread, and then these like rubber rings, and the zipper, obviously, I made everything else about it. It's pretty DIY.
Oh, I just really like the 3D printed buckle on it.
So ugly though.
I know it looks so janky. I'm surprised it even works.
It's so hilarious.
But it does work.
Yeah, it's okay. It's
Yeah.
It could be better. I'll replace it with a nylon one from Amazon at some point, but I have to buy like 100 of them. Just like you guys, whatever USB charger I have that happens to be lighter, this is I prefer those old Apple chargers, but this one does charge my phone faster. If I'm carrying cameras, I will normally bring one with 2 ports that has 100 watt power delivery, so it can charge the camera or the phone super fast and still charge my battery pack, or I can charge the battery pack fast. It has Qualcomm on the one and it has PD on the USB-C, so that one's nice. I'm using it here for the camera, but it's a bit extra, right? When you start adding camera start adding camera gear and you jump up.
I found the lightest
£1.5 pounds.
I found the lightest Aki dual USB charger I could find, but it doesn't have like the higher watt that you want. But I mean, it's fine because I don't really care that much.
Yeah, the Akis that I have, they're 102 or 106, depending if I want to go 60 watt or 100 watt.
Okay. So
I can pick if I care to save 3 grams. This is just like 50 feet of arborist throw rope. It's Spectrum line, just like what you get from Z-Packs. The only difference is same company, I think, that manufactures it, but this is a polyester sheath where Z-Packs claims theirs is urethane. It's very slick, and it will burn a hole in your hands if you're not careful. But it's lightweight. It works. It has multi-purpose. If I need to, I could always cut little bits off and make things out of them, or even use them for guy lines. Sometimes I'll like have this daisy chain of like guy lines that I'll like attach for the handle of my bear hang, and then I don't have, like, I'll do. It depends how much time I have in the evening, but normally I'll carry a couple of these for food and for electronics. This is a 3-gram super small freezer Ziploc. You can tear that off for an extra
nice.
quarter of a gram. That's another pro tip.
That was a sick pro tip. I love that.
Yeah, because it does nothing. It just
it's just a lip. I love that. That was hype. This is what the Ultralight podcast is about.
We should throw that.
Wow! Oh my god.
This is my wallet. It's also a Ziploc bag,
Nice.
and it's just the size of a couple credit cards. So that's all that I put in there, and maybe a little bit of folded up money. This one's like 3 years old, so I've taped it there, and I've got another hole here forming. It doesn't matter though. Cards and money are pretty much waterproof. American money's
True.
waterproof, right?
Well, it's made out of like paper and
Stuff.
stuff.
Yeah. Our money is just made out of stuff. There's no paper, so we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, it's like paper and plastic, and ours is just plastic.
Yeah. This is a towel tab. It fits inside of a water bottle cap, and then it turns into a towel. It's much like the light load towels that pretty much everyone I think has. I love the light loads. I like them better than like the fancier towels. I've tried the MSRs and the MECs and the REI towels, and I've tried like a couple other brands like Sea to Summit and stuff like that. I don't like them. They don't actually absorb the water. They seem almost slightly hydrophobic to me. It drives me friggin' nuts. It's so you can wring it out. But this isn't hydrophobic, so I like it. It's stupid light. It comes in a puck again, and you just add some water, and then it unravels.
Yeah, I see them everywhere. They're great.
And so I just keep it. This has had a little bit of mileage. I've got a bunch of spares at home, and I'm trying this just to see because it's a smaller one, so maybe I can use this to clean off my inside of my Bivy bag or a tent if there's condensation, and then I can keep this for my body, or probably the other way around. Actually, no, this would be nice for after a bath or a swim, but it doesn't really matter. You wring it out. I'd probably just get away with just this if it was a big hike. Like,
oh yeah,
I've only usually carried one. So this is my Ditty bag. It's DIY, just spinnaker tape and DCF, like mid-weight. Some Spectra line. This is from the Yama, their old DIY kit for making stuff sacks, and I just got one just because it was easy and fun, and I kind of wanted to throw some money at those guys because they're seem like they do pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
So when I'm skateboarding, I'll sometimes, or if I'm in the winter, like I'm likely to get sunburnt on my face, like underneath the brim of the hat, I'll carry Blistex, just for some sun protection on my lips. That's all I really care with sun protection. Otherwise, I wear long sleeves and neck gaiters and stuff. I haven't carried this on a week-long hike, really. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll take a tiny little tin, or not tin, but a little tiny plastic thing, and I'll put a little bit of that green. It's like I used to take Climb On, which is like a lubricant sort of. You can use it for 50 different things, like cuts and blisters and chafing and stuff like that. But there's this new stuff that's green that Gossamer Gear sells, and sometimes I'll just grab like a thing that's really small and just put a thumbnail worth in there and just spread that out. But I don't like using it too much just because it's scented. I don't like scented stuff.
Oh yeah, no.
in the wilderness. I don't need to tell the mice where I am so they can eat a hole in my bag, right?
Not even that. I find when I'm on a long hike, like my senses, I mean, not my senses, my sense of smell changes. You know, every time I smell someone with deodorant on, it just smells like chemicals. Like,
yeah.
And when I come back after a long through hike, for the first week, everyone smells like chemicals.
Well, the stuff that I use doesn't have parabens in it. It's made of like avocado oil and like, you know, just herbs and stuff. Like it's a hippie product. So, and it's good for like bee stings and stuff like that too. So that's what I'll carry. But it just smells like it could be like a salad dressing or something like that. Like not a good salad dressing, but like, you know, like a really healthy salad dressing, good for you. And I just worry that it's going to attract rodents.
Yeah. I find most rodents are attracted to it as nuts.
Yeah. So they probably just are attracted to me anyway because I smell like a nut.
But like no, like
yeah.
I'll get them like dig through my bag, go past multiple chocolate bars to get to it's like a chocolate bar that has nuts in it, you know, like I'll be like, what the hell?
No, they're aromatic and like they
I know
them in real life like
it's
squirrels.
Just weird. It's just weird to pass all the other food to just go for some nuts. I don't know.
Good on the squirrels. They're staying healthy.
You got a full chocolate bar right in front of you. What's wrong?
So there's two types of physio tape that I'll try to carry. I've done the on the trekking pole trick, but as we all know, it ages with the sun and the heat and the cold, and then it becomes useless. But I try to bring a very, very, very small amount of Leukotape, which is often used for other people's blisters, or as a real jank shoe repair until I can get my sewing kit out.
I think that's the best ultralight move you can do is always rely on other people's gear.
Yeah.
It's the best move. Don't worry, Paul. We're going to have a communal weight.
Yeah.
You just carry all of this. It's fine.
Oh, whatever. Joke's on you. I don't have any way to boil the water. So, hey, that hot water looks pretty nice. You got any extra? Anyway, I also will sometimes carry a thing of KT tape. Now, this is more often skating or if I have an injury, which I do right now. So this will allow me, if my Achilles tendinosis is acting up, I can tape my Achilles, and this is stretchy, and it'll actually assist in like the forces of towing off. So this can help. I can also use it to tape other body parts. I used to tape up all the downhill skateboarders at the top of the hill after their crashes. So... yeah, no,
it's great. If for you who don't know, you actually like stick a part on and then you stretch it out and then you stick the other part on
and you rub it. Then you rub it. This is rough, and it creates friction, which heats up the glue. The only thing is that you don't want to put this on the most grody body part. You got to like clean yourself off first in order to get a strong bond. So it's a good idea to have a single alcohol swab. And you can do soap and water and dry it off, then use the alcohol swab, and then this stuff will stay on for a week.
Oh yeah, it stays on so strong.
So good. I've actually worn this in multiple showers and have had it stay on me in a stretched position. Now, I don't think it stays as reboundy forever, but but I mean,
really good.
It's good for when you need it. Now, it's a little controversial how effective it is, but anecdotally, athletes say that it makes a big difference. Physiotherapists use it. They at least try to be research-based on like a lot of other modalities.
A lot of tree planters use it too.
Yeah.
It's just like you're just jamming your arm to the ground all day. A lot of people get shoulder issues, and they usually tape the shoulder back a bit so it gets more support, and it helps a lot.
Yeah. So I'll bring this. I'm out there to get overuse injuries.
Those are like all my injuries. I like 6 overuse injuries. It's terrible.
Another thing that I carry these days, unfortunately, is a thing of Ultaren gel. Now, maybe I won't bring this whole heavy thing, but I do want the majority of what's inside of it. So, because I'll go through that in 2 weeks if I'm being careful with it right now because of my the inner ankle situation that I have going on with my bolts not cooperating with my bones for space. So this helps keep the swelling down so I can recover and and it also helps me just keep going. Nothing bad has happened from just continually moving while using this stuff. It seems to work out pretty good. But this is like icy hot. This is extra strength. It's supposed to be good for 12 hours. I find that I normally do need to reapply, maybe like if I stop for any sort of thing in the 3 to 6 p.m. My first stop of the day, real stop, is usually around there. So then I'll put some of this on if I have time. And then if not, I'll just go to the end of the day. But I use it before bed and I use it in the morning. Before bed's probably the most important when it comes to healing. And then in the morning is probably the best for comfort for walking. And now chronic use of anti-inflammatories can actually reduce the proliferation of fibroblasts. So you may actually have more scar tissue as a result of using stuff like that chronically. But at this point, but it can reduce if you use it acutely. So you probably reduce the likelihood of scarring if you only use it for 48 hours after an injury. But I don't know. If I'm just constantly re-injuring my ankle with the bolt scraping my bones and stuff, it's whatever. I don't freaking care. A little scar tissue isn't going to make a big difference. But that's just another Ziploc bag that happens to be in there. So, whoops. I'm a poser. Toilet paper. And I keep my toothbrush and my toothpaste in with it, just because I don't like putting the wet, grody toothbrush into a bag to kind of just stay wet and grody and get mildewy. So I find this dries it out enough that it doesn't get mildewy. And then I also find that toilet paper can get brittle. And so it kind of prevents the toilet paper from turning into dust. So, I'm careful. I make sure that I'm not contaminating my toothbrush.
So many questionable things here.
Yeah.
my toilet paper has its own bag, and my toothbrush has its own bag. Though I do hate though that it sits in its own like wetness.
Yeah,
and
its
just
own
sits
filth.
there. I don't know. A lot of times I've been leaving like on top of the plastic Ziploc bag, but then the morning mildew will just come in and then it's all wet again. And I'm like, man, then I pack it up and I smash into a bag again. And I'm like, now I left it outside to animals and bugs to touch it. And now I'm going to put it back in the bag. I don't know. It feels like there's no winning. But contaminating my toilet, I don't know. You do you. I like it.
I don't care about the dirt as much. But I am very careful not to what I'll do is I'll tear off more than I think I'll need sort of thing, and then I won't put it in with the toothbrush. There's like an A storage, and then there's a what I didn't, and then I'll take what I think I need, but if I don't use it all, or more than I think I need, but if I don't use it all, I don't put it back in with the toothbrush. So I try to be a little bit mindful of it, just because,
Fair.
Don't need to give myself Giardia twice.
Have you had it?
No, I've never had it.
No,
You have?
Thank God. Yeah, I've had it.
I've had friends have it, and they're short forever because they got it when they were kids.
Oh, what? Is that a thing?
I don't know. She's short. I take every opportunity I have to point that out. This is some medical tape just for medical stuff. I've got some Gravol, or Modium, sorry.
Nice.
A couple Band-Aids, just a few. I have 3 Band-Aids here. Some Advil, Tylenol, and some leftovers from my surgery, just in case I break my leg and I need to split myself and walk myself out. It'll at least take the bite out.
I like it.
So that's not one that you can just do.
Planning for failure. I like your style.
Yeah. These are Sea to Summit Wilderness Wash General Purpose Pocket Soap Leaves. There's 50 of them in here. They're pretty dang light.
15 grams.
15 grams for 50 leaves. You take the leaf and you let it sit in water. You have to let it sit for a little while, or else it'll be scuzzy. It'll be like a thick gel glob. But you can use it to wash your hair. This doesn't fizz, like it doesn't foam, because this is a detergent. They do have other kinds that do foam. You need to handle it with dry hands, or else you'll get all 50 at once. So you have to be really careful when you're handling them. You take them out. I actually usually only use half of one at a time, and so sometimes I don't bring all 50. But And then you can use it to wash your clothes. Clothes usually take more than one, I would say, but you might be able to get away with one to a hand wash. I've used them in my hair or on my face. It's just a super light way to carry soap. It's desiccated soap.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it makes sense, really. This is the first time I've actually seen these, and I must say I really like the idea behind it.
It's a nice form factor, but
yeah.
I do recommend keeping them in one of those lightweight Ziploc bags because if there's any moisture, they will stick together, and then you have to break off pieces like little chunks, and then it takes longer to dissolve that way if it's like a pit.
Yeah, and I've always not really liked Dr. Bronner's that much. Use it on your hair feels terrible. I mean, yes, it can. You try to brush your teeth, it tastes terrible. So I mean, yes, you can do all these things just fine, but really it does everything very poorly, I find. And I mean, it will wash your hands just great.
Yeah, but it's
probably
not as damaging for the environment. But
that's true, yeah.
But this is supposed to be biodegradable, healthy for the environment style soap. What do we got here?
That's good.
Biodegradable, pure soap, dissolves completely, no residue. Suitable for body wash, shampoo, dishes, clothes. Great for travel in the wilderness. Use away from natural water sources. You still have to. You still have to use it. Like you still have to dispose of your water away from the river. Like, if I catch myself slacking off on it, then I start to question myself, and I start feeling really guilty, and I'm like. And then I usually
there's a lot
and then I walk away.
There's a lot of things I feel like that. Pooping. Travels.
One last thing on the outside here. Oh, I put my compass underneath. So this is a wrist compass. This is a wrist compass. If it's a Silva race or Silva Jet. This one lets me use my trekking poles or climb and still have it. And the needle stays stable when you run. And it has little markers, so I can kind of use that as a fake declination or as a bearing. So, do I always bring this? No, not usually, because I usually lose them. But it's a really nice little racing compass. I had their thumb compass and I lost it pretty quickly, but I'm hoping this one sticks around longer because I don't have to put it anywhere, but just on my hand.
Yeah.
So I do like having a compass. There's something about having a compass in the wilderness. It's much like having a knife for me too, which I also have. I have this Opinel. Number 5, was it? Was it number 5?
Was it 7?
Was it 7? It's a number 7. Yeah, there it is, right there.
Yeah, it looks pretty.
Number 7. It's a carbon blade. This is fire starter residue from when I have been out with people and I've brought a stove. This one's lasted pretty long. This is my 3rd Opinel. I have a tendency to lose them in different continents. And
these are the really. I mean, I think the number 3 are the most popular through hiking ones. Just a tinier version of this already tiny knife.
Yeah,
but they're pretty light.
Smaller than the normal one. I just wanted to try the carbon blade.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can get lighter with titanium knives, but a lot of people like these nice handles.
Yeah, there's something about the wooden handle. It's pretty good for weight. It's not. It's not
pretty
super
good.
ultra lightweight, but it is
not super. But yeah,
but it's I don't know. It just feels like a proper knife still.
Yeah,
it just has. I don't know. It's maybe that's one of my luxury things.
For sure. I mean, I'm more of the scissor man myself, little scissor man.
Yeah, I like scissors. I think scissors are better for repairs, but there are some situations where I think the knife, scissors are usually good for most things, but there are a couple of uses that I have where I find the knife works better. And I said that last take, but I forget it. I forget. But
it's all good.
Oh, what was that? The knife is good for,
fucking filleting fish.
Yeah, which I don't do because I'm a vegetarian. If I need to cut my arm off, I'm stuck under a rock. This is going to be way better.
It's true.
Way better. That's not the reason why I prefer knives. I just can't think about what it is that I use the knife for. That I'm always if I don't bring the knife, I'm like, God, I need this.
Yeah, you don't even have if you go alone, you don't even have a cook kit. What do you even use a knife for? I guess you can spread stuff. I know a lot of people love spreading stuff.
Yeah. I use it for eating. I do. I just use it as a fork.
Oh, yeah.
Now that I've lost my spork, my long handle spork that I made such a big deal about.
Damn it.
I do carry a small repair kit, some Kevlar thread that I took off of this like Z-Pax rope thing. I do have that in here right now. I actually use my repair kit a couple times a week typically because I do puncture holes and things other than my rain jacket somehow. And then, knock on wood, just some tenacious tape and some spinnaker tape. That is like in case I tear something made of Dyneema or my Bivy bag or whatever. I've got maybe a bit of stuff going on, a bit more than normal. I do carry one Thermarest pad.
Nice.
And then
I just carry duct tape.
Yeah, I find duct tape doesn't work as good as I would like it to. I find that the duct tape comes off of my shoes, but the tenacious tape actually sticks on really well.
A lot better.
And I still sew. I still sew. So what I'll do is like last time I was on a trail for over a week, I cut a hole in the mesh of my shoe, and I cut with a knife. I sawed out it would be easier with scissors, a patch with the tenacious tape, and then I actually sewed it on there with the Kevlar thread. And it's ugly, but it's stayed on there. So
hell yeah.
But this is maybe more than I need right now. I just think I've just been hoarding and collecting. So it's still 12 grams right now at this point. I got to lighten it up. Slacking off. Actually, I don't know
mine's
why,
always
I don't
changing.
even know why I have this in here because I don't have the needle for it. So this is not usable.
What's that?
I broke it. See?
Oh, you broke the needle.
This is a really heavy duty needle, but I've tried puncturing it through like 1/16 of an inch thick rubber, and it made it for like 6 or 7 stitches, and then it broke.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like my repair kit, or my little Ditty kit, probably, I don't know, it definitely needs more work, especially as I get older. Things are changing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been meaning to go back and go through it, to be honest, but my next through hike, I probably get more. I mean, I'm super dialed in already.
It's the big hikes that get you to reevaluate, like stuff like your Ditty bag. Like,
oh yeah, everything.
I only restock the Ditty bag unless it's a big outing. Like I don't bother even checking it all that much. I just make sure that there's toilet paper and the pills are there, and then I go.
Nice.
And what's inside? Wow. This is the down sweater, the Plasma 1000 by Montbell. I've always wanted a Montbell X-Lite, like ever since I was just a little adult.
Hell yeah.
And then I never bought one. I really liked my insulated Rab Anorak thingy, but it was heavier than the X-Lite, and I don't think it was warmer. So anyways, I had this like dream of the X-Lite, and the one year where I went to go buy it, I saw this, and it was like 40% off. Then I paid more than that 40% in Canadian customs, but but anyway, so it's still cost me like $500, but or 400. But it's a down sweater. I do find I'm pretty good at getting away with just this most of the year. And then if it's really cold, usually I'm not doing extended hiking and I just bring a soft shell, and I could still use this as a belay layer that's super light. I don't need the full jacket most of the time, but if I did, or if I suspected that I did, I would probably need to either bring one of my other jackets or grab something like the big brother to this, which Josh has, which is the Plasma 1000 down parka, which is actually like a jacket.
Yeah, it's a fully featured jacket.
This is a 200 weight fleece.
Yeah, this is a sweater. And one of
that weighs 116 grams.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, it's great. It's awesome. The only big complaint I have with this jacket, I own this jacket too, actually, is that there's no waistband.
Yes, that sucks.
Like it's just yeah, it feels like, especially I'm really skinny, you're really skinny, we're both really skinny, so it really, I don't know, it's kind of boxy, so it kind of just
yeah. That's the one thing that I like the least about it. It still has like the Japanese cut as opposed to the European cut, and I'm more of a Euro style, or like it's almost American cut. But I do find like, so sometimes what I'll do is I'll put my rain jacket on over top of it, and that'll kind of cinch it up, but that does push against the loft a little bit, so I don't know if it's actually warmer. Sometimes I'll wear the rain jacket underneath, just because like I'm still the verdict's still out what the order of operations is. I do have a down hood that I use to extend my sleeping bag setup. I'll talk about that later. 125 grams for a size medium. Is it warm enough? Probably not for most people, but I find it works really good for me, even in situations where I'm at camp and it's below freezing.
And I've used this jacket personally too, in probably way too cold of weather than I should have taken it.
Yeah.
It's good. But it's a sweater. It's not a down jacket.
It's not a jacket, but I do push it pretty significantly. For me, the biggest heat loss I feel is on my neck. If I have a cold, brisk wind on my neck, I can't feel my hands, no matter what I put on my body. So I have to keep my neck warm. So speaking of which, I have this Outdoor Research Ubertube. So this is like a toque. It's a buff. I use it mainly as a neck warmer. It covers my neck, and then I don't have to worry about the sunscreen. It also keeps me warm when it gets chilly. I use it even when I'm hot and sweaty and working really hard around my neck. I usually don't take it off, but I have been known to on occasion. It's a headband. You guys know all the uses of these things, but I also use this as my like sleeping toque. So I do have a down hood that I use when it's really cold, but for most 3-season conditions, I don't even bring it. I just use this. It keeps my gross sweaty neck off of my sleeping bag, so sometimes I just won't wear anything on my head.
Here, take that pack off your shirt with you.
Hey, this is Paul and
Josh
from the future.
Ooh.
I have to apologize. We had a problem with the audio, technical difficulties.
Well, Paul had some technical difficulties.
I forgot to press record on the second half of the video. So we are using our scratch audio, so the audio quality is not as good.
Yeah, you might see it come in and out at different points too. So
yeah, we have a couple other old takes that we can maybe pull from. But
yeah, like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Oh yeah. This is a garbage bag. I'll carry these for holding food if I don't bring a bear bag. And I can also use it to make a wash basin with a hole that I dig to wash my clothes if I need to. Don't do that a lot, but have. Maybe once every 4 weeks. This is a Nioflume liner. This is a small from the Z-Pack store because it fits the volume of the Joey perfectly. I actually have a bunch of Nioflume liners, but this is my favorite one. This is not going in the bag typically. This is it's a merino wool shirt. This is for more cool weather. I like it. This is on my body. Sometimes I might bring 2 shirts. If I do, the other one is a Patagonia. Sometimes if it's warmer, I'll just wear the Patagonia. This one here, nope. It's a Patagonia Capilene Light in a easy to spot color. This is another one of those Yama DIY bags. I made a little dry bag with a like less than 2 gram friggin' nest clip and a tiny thin strip of Velcro. So it's a little roll top. I use it to hang food if I need to. It's rodent resistant, but not bear. And sometimes I'll use an knapsack to help with the scent. I would also be willing to put this in a stream underwater so smells can't get to it. And if I have something that I can tie it to securely, and I don't trust that, and I can trust that it won't go downstream. I also sometimes use it as a stuff sack for my sleeping bag if I'm really paranoid about weather or whatever. So that's that. Everybody know, oh, well, this is worn gear too. This is the underwear that I use. I don't wear a man thong yet. But these are designed to dry like almost instantaneously. And it's like a Saxx travel underwear. So it's made for washing, hand washing in a sink and drying super fast. So
It's like nice. Do they have the riveted crotch?
yeah,
area?
it's got the little. I do like that.
This is the only reason I don't go with Saxx. I
Yeah.
do not like the riveted crotch area, especially for long hiking days. I find it gets really annoying.
Yeah, you get chafy.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I've found personally that I don't know. I was sponsored. I was sponsored by a skate shop, and the only underwear they sold was like the keyhole style stuff. Like it's another brand, but they have a keyhole. But anyways, I got really used to that keyhole thing. Now, this isn't as restricted as the keyhole, but it's still something.
Yeah.
It has a little gusset.
I do like the I do have a few pairs, multiple pairs, but I still don't like really. I don't really wear them that much. But I do like the materials a lot.
I like it because if I'm sweaty, I find that I can chafe a little bit, and I find that this helps. And I'm used to now. I've gotten so used to it that I almost hate. I tried wearing another pair of underwear that I bought at an outdoor gear store, but I just couldn't get over the fact that it didn't have the little support thing. So this is, everybody has their chip bag. Not everybody. This is the the Thermarest X-Lite NeoAir in a shorty. This one's pretty good shape. Still, it's pretty new. I was using foam pads for over a decade, and then I finally got one of these guys, and I'm really fond of it. It's comfortable. I kind of want the Uberlite, but this is better for where I am because I'll still be sleeping on ice in like late spring. So
yeah, that's a pretty good R value, you know.
Really good R value
For the weight, it's amazing.
Yeah.
There's a reason that this is like, if you're going inflatable air mattress is like the number one. I feel like, and the number two I think would be like a Nemo Tensor or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, shout out to Nemo.
Woo, Nemo.
Old buddies of mine. Unfortunately, I don't have any Nemo stuff here today, but
yeah.
If they make me a go-go out of DCF, I'll probably do it. But unfortunately, I actually use the Nemo when I'm two-person camping. I use their Hornet Elite just because I love the Nemo guys because they used to sponsor my skate stuff, and I had a decent repertoire with them or rapport with them. I really liked them a lot. So I sometimes use their Hornet Elite because it's still lighter than like a lightweight. It's I think it might even be lighter than this when you break it up amongst two people. It's still not as light as some of the through hiking tents, but I do use it when I'm with my girlfriend. She likes the space. It's secure. I also got it for pretty cheap, so I got a pro deal on it. So nice. So that's part of it too. But I've been meaning to try out some other tents. But what I've been using lately is this Bivy bag, and it is a Mountain Laurel design. It's the Event Sole. It's a sill nylon floor and an Event top. This one has the bug net, but if I'm going on something long, I was planning on cutting it out, but because what happened is I thought I was ordering the FKT, but I accidentally ordered the heavier version. But I got lucky. This one's actually quite a bit lighter than what they normally come out at. Mine happens to be 302 grams with the sealing and everything, so it came out way lighter. So if I cut out the liner and take out the wire, it'll be really darn close to the FKT, but it has a thicker floor. So it's probably a win in the end, but yeah. Yeah.
No, you're like
miscommunication with Ron and I guess I got confusing. I talk too much. I use a Bivy bag because
you hate yourself.
Because I hate myself.
How did I've spent so much time in a Bivy bag. Man.
I've done multiple multi-month trips in them, and I lived in them in the army there for a bit. So
still hate them.
Yeah. I understand. I don't care though. Something else I've been playing with very recently, and I've only taken on one longer than an overnight hike, is the Sea to Summit Ultralight pillow in the small, and it's 48 grams, and I just slept on my clothes wrapped up in my like bag thing or in anything I could find that I could wrap it up in, or sometimes even just my backpack. And or nothing, and I just woke up with a kinked neck every day, and eventually it worked itself out when I was looking around at the woods. But pillows are really nice when you use them. That I'm finding. Honestly, the first time I used a pillow was like last year, I think.
Damn, I mean, I don't even really use a pillow at home, so.
Yeah, you were saying.
Yeah,
I used to be like that, but maybe it's because I'm getting close to 40 that I'm finding I need to it's just not as liberal. I also have overuse injuries from like skateboard racing in my neck. So maybe it's a good idea. I don't know.
I know a lot of people do. I don't know.
I don't know if it really came down to it and I really felt pressed for weight or pack space, I probably would cut it.
Yeah.
But right now it's included in my base weight.
It's a luxury item, you know.
It's included on my pack weight right now.
Nice.
So oh, we're getting close to the end. This is another thing that's only for cold weather. So I would never really bring this on summer hiking or even shoulder season hiking. I don't need it. I find my Ubertube is enough. But this is a Feathered Friends down hood. I use it with my quilts when I'm sleeping in my bivy bag and it's freezing out and the quilt isn't warm enough. It kind of hugs my head. It works really nicely with the yoke of the quilt I'm going to show you, but it's a good neck warmer. It's nice for camp if it's freaking cold out and I'm not wearing enough. But like I only brought this like it's good for I use this in the mountains September or later, or like before Father's Day, like before June, or maybe into June. No, before June, definitely before June. I would put this away. So this is really only for what most Americans would consider winter, because it's snowing here in September often, often enough, especially when you get up into the altitudes in the mountains. It snows on you at nighttime. So that's what this is for. It's my sleeping extender. This thing actually isn't that.
No, they're pretty light.
They're pretty darn light for what they are. It's a lot lighter than a toque. I might not have put that on. That's not on my base weight. I didn't put that on there because I would never have this for like the majority of the year. That just happened to be in my bag from a winter hike from yesterday. So this is the last thing that I've got here, I think. Yep. Oh, that's not supposed to be there. You didn't see that. Oh, no. I have one more thing.
Yeah, we did talk about that a bit.
Last two items. So my sleeping bag, I've had really good experience in the past with Western Mountaineering. We do have an Enlightened Equipment Enigma custom with like the 7 denier material inside and out and like their 900 something filled down. That thing is wonderful, but it's way too it's rated for it's way too warm for me. I don't need it. I guess I sleep warm, but but I've had really good experience with these guys. I bought this because it was because I kind of wanted to support a mom and pop shop. We have the Norseman in town and they actually sell this stuff there, but for its warmth to weight, and I think this is due to the efficiency of the cut and the yoke. I think that's the only reason why they were rated as being warmer for their weight. I think there's some controversy. Some people think it's a little controversial, but I still haven't cut all the tags off. I just got the one, but and I gotta get rid of this too, because I just got this for my skate, and I've been kind of carrying it around. But it's a +3 Celsius, whatever that is in Fahrenheit. It is a 38 Fahrenheit bag.
Yeah.
With a 3.5 inch loft. Now, so normally the 3.5 inch does not get you that warm, but I think it's due to the yoke design. I actually didn't think I would like the yoke. I thought it would just be a waste of weight. But this actually is excellent for sealing off your entire upper part, your shoulders, your back. It does a really good job, actually. It's really well designed. So I think that's the advantage of this bag. Now I use this in like freezing. Whatever freezing is, I'll use this a little bit below freezing with that hood. Have yet to try it in the summer. I'm a little disappointed because when I bought it, I was expecting it to weigh 354 grams because I'm a long. I need the long. The shorts, I can't stretch the shorter one, unfortunately. I'm like 6'2". So I was expecting it to be 354. But just before I bought it, they swapped out the face fabric because they were having issues with the acrylic, with the breathability of the acrylic kissed 7 denier material. That stuff was what I was expecting. The thing is that people had issues with this bag collecting water and not drying out quickly and just becoming less and less insulated as time went on. They also had some really weird straps. So bonus is that now it uses the Light & Equipment style straps, inspired by Light & Equipment, I believe. And then the negative is that it weighs a lot more. How much does it weigh?
This one?
Yeah, it's on my list.
Yeah, you wrote 403 grams.
So it went from 354 to 403 when they replaced it with this 10 denier, or maybe it's even 12. I think it's like 12 denier material that they swapped it out. They did that to match the color as close as possible, but I would have rather like even 10 denier would have been better. So I was pretty upset about that, and I wrote to them, and they didn't get back to me, which I thought was kind of weird. But
I brought it up before, but Western Mountaineering bags being like 2 ounces heavier than they should be, and it's funny that this one
it wasn't like that in the past. Like
it's funny. This is like 1.7 ounces heavier than it should be.
Yeah,
so it's almost. I feel like this is very traditional Western Mountaineering.
I don't know. Like my old like the Biotics and the Highlights, those were perfect. Back before we really used quilts all that much, especially where I am. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a little disappointed. Although it did a really good job. It definitely runs warmer than I would figure. Like if I put this next to my Marmot Pounder, which was which is an old bag, but
yeah,
that if I put it next to my Marmot Pounder from like the 2000s, the aughts, you know, this is probably half the weight. The Pounder is more than a pound, and the Pounder is a 5 degree, and this thing feels twice as warm. so nice. It's a good quilt, but buyer beware. You got another 50 grams, and I don't know if I like it. I don't know. I don't know if I would have bought it if I knew that. I'm definitely glad I didn't go with their heavier duty one, their thicker one, because that would have been a beast to carry. It packs up really small, which is super nice. And the loft is really nice, and it's untreated down. Yeah, I don't know. Cool. Yeah. So that's, one more thing is this little crappy foam pad. It's the kind that the super lightweight, like John C. and stuff, they use them. They're like
the
1/4 inch garbage foam. If you squeeze it too hard, it's ruined. And I use this in as my back panel, and it gives me a little bit of extra moisture protection. Little bit, if I have something sharp in my backpack, it kind of protects me a little bit. And it acts as my foot mat, but normally I just throw my backpack under my feet. But this is my foot mat, essentially. So that's what I use, just in case I'm on rocky ground. I feel like it would almost protect the Bivy bag a little bit more, even having just a little bit of something even above on the top side of the fabric where the bottom side is on something that might cause it to have a hole, because I don't carry a ground sheet. I have in some situations used a map as a ground sheet. So I'll pull my map out and the plasticized ones if I have one, and I'll just put that underneath the high pressure areas.
Yeah.
And so if I'm rolling around, I'm like, I don't care if I put a hole in the friggin' map, right? I guess as long as I can still use it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, there are situations where I'll bring more or less stuff. My pack weight sits around 6.6 pounds. But if I bring camera gear, it usually goes up a pound or way more, depending on what I'm doing. If I'm filming, I might bring a lightweight drone, but that has a controller and extra batteries. And I have been known to bring a gimbal, which is a crap load of weight. If I upgrade to I like just having like a camera phone. I find that those are good enough in most situations when I'm just hiking and the purpose isn't content generation. But if I am bringing content, I'm bringing an A6000. Its kit lens is pretty light, but sometimes I'll bring out the 18 to 105 GOSS, like Venture Allen. He uses that. I also have a Sigma 16 millimeter f1.4, which is freaking heavy. And then I'll switch to my Canon for a full frame. I still think the RP is lighter weight than the Sony's lightweight full frame that they claim is the lightest. I'm pretty sure the RP is lighter, and you can run some plastic lenses on it, and it's pretty good, like the 35 mil RF. So I'll usually bring just the 35 mil with that RP and use that for filming and for photos. And I've actually sold photos taken with that lens, but
Nice.
but it's more weight, right?
Oh,
and then I'm sure I've got the lightest weight 200 mil setup ever. It's an old Pentax K and an adapter, but like, so if I want wildlife, I can do a 200 mil shot, but then I'm still adding like another 400 to 600 grams, whatever it is. I think it's 400. Like when I went and I did my skate tour, my last one, I carried 11 pounds of camera gear on top of my 6.5 pounds of like traditional through hiking gear. I also had to bring extra bushing, an extra bearing, an extra nut for each 3 sizes, a tool to tighten things up, which you absolutely need because things will just loosen when you're riding. I usually bring polysporin or a hydrocolloid bandage when I'm skateboarding too, because road rash, and I had infected road rash. I just don't want to do that anymore. Luckily, I've never had MRSA, but I've known plenty of kids from Vancouver. They all have MRSA.
What's MRSA?
It's antibiotic-resistant staph infection.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not cool. You have to be quarantined if you get it. They quarantine you in the hospital.
Wow.
So I've
That
had
makes
friends.
sense. I mean,
I've had friends get it, and it's not. I mean, I've known entire skate scenes to get it like all at once. Where if you crash on the hill that they're skating, you got to friggin' disinfect yourself down to the fat layer, like just because you just got to use sandpaper your friggin' scab off and get right at it because you don't want to get that. So I'll carry a little bit extra for skating, and then when it comes to media generation, I need to carry sometimes a lot more. Sometimes I want to get on the trail to get away from it, in which case I'm only going to bring a phone. A lot of the time I'll bring the Canon camera because it's a better quality photo, often with the with the larger charger and the extra charging cable and the camera and the lens. So yeah, it really depends what I'm willing to do. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my bag. So
yeah, thanks for joining us.
thanks for paying attention to that. Feel free to roast me as much as you want.
We'll post the lighter pack links.
Yeah, we're gonna post lighter pack links, and we can. Maybe I won't update the one that I've got now, and what I'll do is I'll just build new ones in the future. But each situation is totally different for me because I like mixing it up quite a bit, and I don't really spend a lot of time in warm areas. So most of my hiking happens shoulder season, right?
I usually make a before and after list. So before my hike and then after the hike.
Yeah. That's smart. Well, yeah, that makes.
It's been good having all the trips, like having all of them still. I can look at them. It's kind of nice.
That's your diary that you otherwise don't take.
My ultralight diary.
So, just a caveat. I'm not a through hiker yet. I'm really interested in it. I do section hiking. And I do extended backpacking trips, but those typically aren't not extended. I do backpacking trips that may run like 10 days long, but, and then I do road touring, which is kind of like with a skateboard, which I'll do for 2-3 months sometimes, often in countries with not a lot of support. I really like setting myself up to have not a lot of support when I'm on the road. I like long stretches I like the logistical challenge of having long stretches without food supply, water, going through deserts. I've been in the most arid desert in the world. I like those challenges, and I like to try to figure things out and be prepared, but not necessarily over prepared. But sometimes it's an error in its own way, as we all know. But I like long stretches of no cell phone service. I like all that stuff.
Yeah,
so.
and I feel like all long distance pursuits eventually, you become
you have to do
ultralight.
that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. No matter what it is, you always end up here. Yeah, so thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, smash that like button.
Subscribe
wherever you are. Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify.
This is like the Illuminati symbol. Just subscribe.
SoundCloud.
Sorry, that might bother some people.
Yeah, and leave a comment if we're gonna probably bring in that correction section.
Correction section hikers.
Correction. It's gonna be a whole episode.
And then we'll, we also, we want to hear what you guys think.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have some fun with that in the future too.
Yeah.
Let me know.